Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of I Cast Fireball, an actual play 5e D&D adventure where we go through the campaign Tyranny of Dragons. I'm Thomas, your DM for this adventure, and around the table we have...
Malamara.
Lance Thalen.
And Fleeple.
I'm going to hijack this intro for just about 10 seconds here and announce that we have a newly released Patreon, and if you haven't gone and checked it out, go look at the link in the description and go see what tiers might fit for you. But now let's get to the recap and see where the Jinx Squad are at. They are in a frozen iceberg, and last we had left them, they had encountered Makoth the Crimson and a little kobold where our resident kobold was able to get Ralph's ring activated to silence the screams for help before the other dozen kobolds in the other room came to join the battle. Quickly dispatching of the kobold, and after a brief conversation with Makoth does want to be rescued, but also is a wizard in the fact that they like their research and they really don't like to leave a problem unsolved. So after bringing them back to her pseudo home, where there was also an unfortunate battle that occurred due to Makoth's just foolhardiness, maybe? Airheadedness might be a better word for that. They quickly dispatched of the ice troll, and they came up with a plan, and they had committed themselves to destroying the dragon Arauthator. Some hesitance between our party members here, but after resolving themselves with one another, they had committed to defeating Arauthator. And that is where we join our adventurers now. So, Jinx Squad. This ice troll, Marvin, I believe.
Reginald, was it?
Ah, that was the other ice troll I had. Reginald is this one. Yes, that's correct.
They have a sitcom together, Marvin and Reginald.
No, Reginald is still polymorphed as a really slow sloth, and you are resolved last we had discussed. So, what does the Jinx Squad do? I believe last we had discussed you were trying to attune to the Ring of Cold Resistance, which was going to take an hour. So the polymorph was going to dissipate before that attunement had occurred. So I leave it to you, Jinx Squad, to direct what you do next.
All right. So first thing that we've decided we want to do, because we haven't been planning outside of this session, not at all, putting together plans for how we're going to try and manage this situation.
Not at all. Definitely not.
It's live, baby.
I sense the sincerity in each of your voices. Inspiration to all of you.
Oh, thank you. I already have
I
it.
already got it, dang it.
I'm worried about that going into a dragon fight.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the eastern entrance, the first one that we discovered leading down into the lower layer.
Sure, with like the engineering crane that you flew down, Fleeple.
Yeah, so the first thing that we want to do is, as we fell in it, we're going to take the pulley and we're going to send it all the way down, and we're going to tie it off up above. So at this point, it's basically just a rope for us to climb straight up and down in case we should need a means of egress.
Okay.
And so that is the first thing we're going to do to get down into this area. But before we actually go down, I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace on all of us. And Makoth still has the troll in the other room, so even though my concentration on polymorph is getting lost, we're hopefully far enough away that we don't have to worry about it at the moment.
Yes, so you bid adieu to Makoth, and Makoth has made the commitment to. She's in on this, and she's like, oh yeah, me and Reginald, we're tight. So I'll take him over here, and she takes him. Actually, she follows you to a distance, but she actually veers off as you are going towards the pit. She veers off to another direction to take him supposedly further into the iceberg in paths that are undiscovered to your party.
Delightful. So, Pass Without Trace on all of us.
Great. Boom.
And now we're going to start getting down into the lower recesses, and we're going to find some places to set up, just a little welcoming party for the dragon here.
Okay. So yeah, with that, sorry, just real quick, the pulley system, not difficult to manage whatsoever. It's now that you know what it is, there's absolutely an easy way to maneuver it. Throw a rope down at the very least that's attached to this pulley system, and you just want the rope dangling, right? You don't want to like try to engineer something with this pulley system itself, correct?
Yeah, just a simple dangling rope.
Easy enough. And I believe, yes, that goes all the way down to the iceberg that you had. Well, hold on. It should go down all the way to the iceberg. Yeah, so 40 feet, easy enough. It just a little bit of slack on the iceberg that is jutting up from the ground in what we'll call Arauthator's lair, because that's what it is. And that is the iceberg that you had landed on Fleeple previously. So you're using the full extent of the 50 feet of rope essentially here.
Okay, so now the first question I have for you, how big are the nets that we got from the ice hunters?
Yeah, so those nets, each of you have your own net, right?
2, I believe, in fact. 2 each.
Ah, all right. Well, so the orcs would have... these are normal fishing nets, right? So they are enough to get to cast out and grab some of the more exotic fish or just generalized fish.
Normal fish.
The more normal basic fish, the non-legendary creature fish from the monster manual, right? So trout, salmon, things like that. And so they are pretty large. And so like Fleeple, you could get caught in one of these pretty easily. In fact, each one of you could probably fit yourself into the net if you're just trying to like gauge size and try to figure out how large it is. It does require some sort of like skill to throw these nets, obviously, but they are weighted. So they have a rope attached to them and they have weights around the edge so that when you pull against them, they create that vacuum or they create that ball so the fish get trapped in. So yeah, I mean, 2 apiece, 6 of them, that is quite a wide distance if you can connect all of them together.
Yeah, so what we're hoping to do is take all 6 of those and basically tie them together into one big old super net.
I see. So you're trying to attach with your own rope, with your own material that will allow you to throw it as one large net.
Yeah, 2x3 grid of nets, essentially.
Okay. And I assuming you're just using the rope that you have on hand?
Indeed.
Okay. Oh, well, this will require a deft hand, I would say. And so...
Would my hunting skills have had any... In my time of hunting, I would have had the dexterity to make traps and such, and possibly repair nets that came back.
Yeah, 100%. So what I'm going to allow here is we're going to use this, the variant rule that we've described occasionally. Mal, you are trained in survival as a barbarian, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I figured as much. What we're going to do here is I'm going to have you make a... not right now, but when we get to it, I'm going to have you make a dexterity-based survival check.
Okay.
So essentially, it would normally just be a dexterity check, but because of your hunting background specifically and your survival background, that is allowing you to add your proficiency bonus to it. That's why dexterity-based survival skill check. And Lance, you are very deft with your hands, so I will allow you to make a dexterity check when we come to it here to see how we can maneuver and get these nets together. I just got to think about, you guys keeping me on my toes. It's a good thing. I'll keep telling myself that. I just got to think of the DC before I have any of you roll and how many successes or failures we want here. So what we'll have happen here is we are going to need a series of skill checks here, and they are going to be just dexterity-based or survival-based. And I'm going to say we need, for a large net like this, we're going to need probably 3 successes. And then for each failure, time will pass. And as time passes, there might be an increased chance for a random encounter. And if there's a critical failure, which I'm going to take from Pathfinder 2e, if it's 10 or less from my DC that I'm going to set, then some of these nets might possibly become damaged as well. So that way we have some varying success here. Does that all sound fair to everybody?
You're the cool DM. We'll follow you.
Yeah, you're so cool right now, Thomas. I'm just really.
I'm mainly
loving
looking
the
over to
support.
Ned because I get real self-conscious when I come up with mechanic stuff on the fly here. So,
Works for me.
okay, cool. Yes, and here. All right.
So what I just heard was Jake, he doesn't care about our opinion.
Yeah, he's
was just
looking at
asking.
Ned. He's looking at Ned.
I said mainly.
We're not DMs,
All right.
Mickey, so we don't really get it.
We're trying to pull shenanigans on a kind and long-suffering DM. I think he's justified in making us do a little bit of work.
All right, we rolling?
Inspiration again to all of you guys.
Oh, thank you.
So let's just start doing it one at a time because this is going to be like a group skill check. We'll start with Mal leading out since you are the expert in this area.
You got this, sport.
Oh, I was just about to ask you, and you want to do like enhance ability, but we got this sport. So we're blessing, adding a D4 to this roll. I've got the DC set in my mind.
Okay, and you said a dexterity-based survival check?
Yeah, which for you just means dexterity check, add your proficiency bonus.
Okay. 21.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. You start getting the rope, and some of the sections of the nets are actually a little too small for the rope, and so you deftly, like at certain parts of the rope, you cut it off, and you untangle it or you unwrap it, so you can get kind of like some of the thinner strands of the rope, which would destroy it if you didn't know what you were doing, and you know what you're doing. Obviously, you come from the north, spine of the world. It's your home, of course it is. And as Lance is looking at you, he's getting his portion ready. And as he looks to you, he's about to say something, but as you deftly and when I say deftly, it is professional. You get in the zone. You're just like knife, cut. You're cutting it in such a fine way, and like you know exactly like the grain to go and how to like move it, and you're tying it up. That is one full success here. So we only need 2 more successes as a party here. And you have 1/3 of this giant net together. And due to that, that only took 5 minutes. Now, Lance, you'd like to take a go at it, correct?
Yes, using sleight of hand, just being deft with my hands, being able to tie knots in the right places to get it all set up.
You got this, sport.
I'm going to have you just do just a general dexterity check. So not add the proficiency bonus, just because when it comes to tying nets specifically, this is something you are less trained in compared to Malamara's survival. So you are still getting all of your dexterity, just no proficiency bonus here. But you're getting the
I am
sport
proficient
as well.
in every dexterity-based skill. Dig it. All right, so just dexterity.
Just dexterity modifier on this roll, plus the D4.
17.
17. As you are looking at Mal, and you're like, you've got a pretty good idea of what to do and where to go about how to work this. And you are focusing on some of the larger portions of the net and tying them. You're like, Mal clearly is the expert here. I'm going to let her deal with the more fine-tuned stuff because she's the one that can get it strong and neat and tight. And so you're going to focus on some of the more larger areas. And things are going really well. But it's so cold. Very cold. And after doing this for a few minutes, it's so cold and your fingers are like, you have to like blow into your fingers to warm them up, that you go a little too quickly. And just as you finish your section, you like look over and as you set your net down, the rope looks like it's all tied perfectly. But as you set it down, one end just gets pulled ever so slightly. And it's like one of those granny knots where you pull and it just comes undone. And that is a failure, unfortunately.
I'm going to give him my inspiration.
Oh.
Here we go.
I have inspiration. I was going to use it. I thought I had to declare it, though, before I knew if it was a success or a failure.
Well, I'm a cool DM. Let's just roll.
All right, Ned,
Yeah,
you keep that.
You can
keep,
use your inspiration if you want.
Yeah, you keep the inspiration. I want. This is my thing. I'll use the inspiration. I want you to have it for whatever you got coming up. All right, one more time. I get to keep the guidance roll.
You get to keep the D4. Yeah, keep the guidance roll.
19.
19. Just as the rope starts to become untangled, you go, no, and you grab it, and you're like, oh, where did I go wrong? And you're like, oh, It's over, then under, and just you undo the last little bit, and you pull it tight. That is a success.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
But now I don't have
right.
an inspiration for the fight. Wait, Thomas, you just gave us inspiration. Go back. I'm inspired, right? I'm sure.
So, if we want to use inspiration, that is correct. We do need to call it out before success or failure is stated. But we have possibly one last skill check here. It's only been 10 minutes while you guys have been tying this up. There's only one section left. Who would like to take this?
I am proficient in survival.
There we go. And it definitely comes from your background as well, being in the
a cleric.
woods. As a
Yeah.
cleric.
all that time I spent catching fish in the temple.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what's your official background as well, just to play into the theme here?
I am an acolyte.
Acolyte. All right. So the theme of you being acolyte in the woods with your druidic sense, yes. You can perform a dexterity-based survival skill if you'd like.
All right, you got this sport. It's a 27.
Yeah.
What'd you roll on the 20?
I rolled a 19 on the 20, 1 on the d4, 7 for my dex and proficiency.
Almost a critical success. Not quite a critical success, though.
Ooh, boy.
With a DC of 18, you see what they're doing and you're like, oh, I've done this before. I've totally done this before. Like, here you are being like, oh, Mal and Lance, they're the ones. And then you see what they're doing and you're like, that? Oh, all right. Yeah, you did this growing up. Like, you did this from day 3.
Suddenly I remember why I thought this was such a good idea in the first place.
There you go. And you're like, oh, all right. And then you go and you start getting rope and you start tying the rope together and you're finessing it. You're doing the final touches of connecting all 3 sections even further, even more solidified. That's 3 successes right in a row. And you rolled so high. I'm going to say not only is this net firm and secure, I'm going to say it's a +1 net for the purposes of like
net.
a
Wow.
It's a masterwork net.
Oh,
We were
dang
so
it.
incredible. It has now become magical.
it's not magical, but it's more masterwork. Yes. Yeah, it's definitely not magical for the purposes of mechanics of trying to do damage to overcome resistance. Nets can be. But when it comes to grapple checks, this will be a +1 net to when it comes to grappling. So well done, the 3 of you. Wow, no need to roll random encounters there. So just breeze right through that.
Booyah. So now, here's what we want to do with this net. I'm going to hide it kind of off to the side, sort of behind one of these pillars here, next to one of the entrances, preferably, I guess, the southern entrance from the western portion of the lair to the eastern portion of the lair. Kind of hide behind that pillar and kind of fold it over on itself along the ground there so that it could be easily lifted straight up. I'm going to be on one end of the net, one corner, and when the time comes, I'm going to use my telekinesis to lift the other corner of the net straight up, and then potentially drape it over a dragon who might get lured past this area here.
Ooh, okay, so let's run this by one more time just to make sure I understand the details of what you're describing. So you're on the ledge in Arauthator's lair, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have the net, which it's very heavy right now. Like, you actually have to tie it to the rope and lower it down, because if you try to hold it, Fleeple, you, like, plummet to your wings don't quite hold it. You had a rage mage, but your strength is -2, if you recall, and is only a 6 right now. So it is quite difficult. So you're able to put it down. You're having it draped across the entire...
So the way that I'm thinking of setting it down is like if you were to imagine taking, I don't know, like a dish towel or something and lowering it onto a table, and you kind of zigzag it back and forth so that it lays neatly on top of itself. But if you were to lift it straight up, it would just be one flat sheet.
I see. Yep. Okay, absolutely. And it does cover the entire expanse of one side of the iceberg here. This iceberg being a 15 by 15 square-ish platform. It barely fits on top of this iceberg, this pillar, I should say. But yes, easy enough to do with some struggling with your 6th strength. You're like, oh my gosh. You almost take a point of exhaustion. Just kidding. You don't. That would be really sad. But you definitely struggle while Lance and Mal look down from above going, you okay? You okay?
Don't worry, I got this sport. All right, so now that I'm in place, sounds like it's time to start luring the dragon over this way.
Okay, so is it just Fleeple down here?
No, Malamara and I will descend. Before we do, Malamara, here, I think...
I will say, as you descend, I do need everybody to roll.
Never mind, I was going to talk to you, but goodbye.
Okay, I don't normally do this, buddy. I'm going to make everybody roll an athletics check to climb down the rope here. Except for Fleeple, because you can fly.
Woof. Great.
Okay, I'll do guidance on Lance.
Thank you.
Since stealth is the name of the game and you're descending into a lair, I feel it appropriate.
19.
18.
Easy enough. Both of you descend onto this pillar without issue, and currently no need for a stealth check. Lance, sorry for interrupting you.
You're good. Malamar, I've been thinking, and I don't know if I'd be the best to be right up front in the face of this thing. I think you should have this. And he will take out, twirling it around like a gunslinger, his short sword of dragon slaying. That doesn't need attunement, you just have it and it works. And he will hold the blade side and hand it off to Malamara.
Mal looks at the sword in his hands, and she reaches forward and gingerly takes it out of his hands and looks back to him and says, "But won't this leave you defenseless? I don't know that I don't feel comfortable being down here if you don't have a weapon to defend yourself."
No. I have daggers. I have my just regular short sword, and he reaches into the bag of holding. I've got this regular, not magical, but I've got my bow. I've got those arrows. I'll be okay. Just know that, Malamara, you've got this. You're the power. You've got this.
She nods and takes a deep breath in, and she'll look at both Lance and Fleeple. She's like, "I know that we just talked about this and went over all of our plans, but please stay as far away from this monster as you can. Especially now that I have this, I'll be right in its face, but you guys have to keep your distance."
That is 100% the plan.
Yep, I've got a 10 on me twice.
We just talked about it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get near this thing unless things hit the fan. Just don't. Just be safe. Be strong. And know we're here for you.
You too. To both of you. Mal will reach into her bag and take out that small statue of Bothus, and we'll put it on the ground, and she'll kneel down by it and say the incredibly intricate and forgotten language magic words and just say, "Good boy," and cause him to come to life.
The statue emerges into Balthus, and he kind of stretches and does the big old dog stretch and yawns with his big stretch, feet first down and then his back, and his mouth goes, "Oh, wow, yeah. Well, hey, it's good to see you there. Yeah, it's good to be here. Oh, gosh, it's cold. It's so cold here."
And she'll scratch behind his ears and keep him quiet since we're down in this cave.
And the tail is just wagging against his side. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, that's real good. You want me to be quiet? It's a little hard for me, I'll be honest, but okay."
And just to be clear, we are trying to draw the dragon to which particular spot? Are we trying to draw him in between all the pillars, right in the end of the corridor to the west?
So what I have in my brain is we've got the two corridors connecting the east and the west portions. I want to draw him through the southern corridor, and I think I'm on top of the pillar that is immediately at the entrance of that southern corridor.
All right, then Lance is going to, after all that exchange, Lance is going to climb down, going to each level of this thing, and Lance is going to sneak over, I should say, over to the northeast pillar from that. I'm going to, because I believe that's a raised platform, not like a huge pillar, but it's a raised area, about 10 feet, I believe. And Lance is going to hide to the east of it, right next to the right side of that pillar, kind of shielding him from the corridor's vision.
I see.
And Mal will climb down the same time that Lance is and go straight across to the one that's directly north. And without climbing up on it, stay at that lower level and hide behind so that if we can lure the dragon through that corridor, she's on the opposite side.
And I would say, Thomas, I'm even behind it. Like, if you scoot me over 2 spaces to the right, I'm purposely trying to hide my body from being at all seen from those 2 corridors.
All right, so each one of these large squares on this map is 15 feet. So from where Fleeple currently is, it's going to be 30 feet from where you are to where you are, Lance. But before we even get to that point, the ice here is treacherous, and each of you have crampons.
Yes.
So as you descend, just Mal and Lance, I'm going to need each of you to roll an athletics check with advantage here to make sure you don't fall and possibly fall through the ice.
9.
8.
With advantage?
Yeah, I rolled a 2 both times.
I rolled a 6
Wow.
and an 8. I will say, I'm not darting. I am moving as slow as I can because I'm also trying to sneak.
All right, as each of you are climbing down this pillar, you get about 5 feet from the bottom before you actually slip and you fall. You fall to the ground, and although you don't fall through the ice, it does make a clatter and a sound. And each of you just hold your breath and you wait there. I need each of you to roll me a stealth check, but for Mal and Lance with disadvantage.
But we have the plus 10 for Pass Without Trace, right?
But you have plus 10 with Pass Without Trace.
Are we still within 30 feet of Fleeple?
I'll be flying just above them to make sure they're still within range.
Yeah, this is before we all get to our spots.
I get a straight roll because of my boots.
Correct. And this is noise-based for sure.
I rolled a 6, so it's 16. Paths Without Trace.
35.
And 31.
All right. As each of you hold your breath and you wait, you hear something in the distance, but in the northeast of where you currently are at. And before you move off to your locations, you hop up on the pillar that Fleeple is eventually going to end up with. It's from the initial pillar that you came in. It has a secondary level to it that's still above the ground. It's about 8 feet above the ground, and you hide there. And with your Pass Without Trace magic, it is encasing you like in darkness with a little bit of snow. You wait a few minutes through Lance's suggestion, being very trained in stealth. As each of you wait there for a few minutes, there are 2 creatures that are lumbering, and you hear them lumbering from the northeast. And they look very much like Reginald, for they are ice trolls, and they're sniffing around. Very guttural, speaking to one another. As their heads are swinging back and forth, looking and scanning where they thought they heard the noise. All of you hold your breath, or you wait with bated breath. And one of them sort of shrugs his head and gestures to go back to the northeast where they were, slowly. But it appears there is more than just Arauthator that might be down here. After 5 minutes, you let your breath out. You're able to move on with your plan if that's what you choose.
Yeah.
Well, we're here.
Yep.
Great. Okay. So Lance, you climb back down. No need for an athletics check here as you're only 8 feet above. So you slink down and you quietly walk over, going at a slow speed, I would imagine, so that the crampons don't give you away. Because as you might recall, last I spoke, the crampons not as stealthy as they possibly could be. So you make it sound. It's like in Dune where they do the sand sea walking, so that worms don't like hear the movement. Like you try to make it sound like it's just the cracking of the ice naturally in the sculpture, in the iceberg, I should say. And you hide behind the column. And all of you are in position, and Mal, you are right next to Fleeple. Balthus being with you, he just kind of whispers and goes, "So what's going on right now? Like, what are we doing? This is obviously very cold."
Mao will quietly and quickly explain the second phase of the plan that the Jank Squad has agreed upon, which is we're going to ask Balthus to run down this corridor to the west here toward the ice pools, because that's where we believe that the dragon is. Hopefully gain his attention and come back, luring him right in between these two ice pillars in which we're hiding behind.
Yes, and for our listeners, if you recall, the west section of this lair had some pools that were not frozen over, that were typically used by Arauthator, told to them by Makoth the Crimson, to enter in and out of the lair. So your plan is to get Balthus to burst on over that air, making a lot of noise in that general direction, and if there's any creature, to try and lure it back to you?
Correct.
I see. Balthus looks at you and just blinks deliberately a couple times. So I don't really like this idea of a dragon, like, trying to eat me, but I guess I have to listen to you. You are my master. Just sounds an awful lot like what my previous master would make me do, so just keep that in mind.
Mal will take out a piece of smoked jerky from her pack and give it to him as a treat, and scratches his ears again. Just trust us, bud. It's okay.
As soon as you pull the jerky out, he goes like on his haunches and wags his tail just in the air and goes, "Oh my goodness, oh yes, I'm a good boy, I'm a good boy."
She'll give him the jerky and give him good ear scratches and just go quietly, since we know there's other things in this cavern. "It's okay, buddy. Just trust us. I promise you it'll be okay."
All right, fine. Well, this does make it a little easier, but I'll expect lots of scratches, and you better take me out every week, okay? I know it takes a week for it to recharge, but every week on the dot, okay?
You got it, bud. And she'll give butt scratches that dogs love so much. Scratch, 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 scratch.
And Balthus will stand up as straight as it possibly can, head held up high, dignified, as it goes and starts sauntering before it starts to gallop. So Mal, you are watching them go, correct, Balthus? Or are you hiding behind the pillar?
I don't have any reason to watch him go.
Okay.
Because we believe that the dragon's way far to the west, so there'd be no point in watching him.
Okay, sounds good. You are waiting, and you hear Balthus just start barking. This real deep bark. As you hear this loud barks, and then all of a sudden it cuts off, and you're like, what the? And you hear a... really, really slow bark. A very slow bark. As soon as you hear that, there is a large noise from the west side of this chamber, the lair, of... It sounds like a mountain is moving, or like the iceberg itself is moving. And you hear a... And you hear wings flap into the air. Do any of you look, or are you holding firm in your position?
I am hiding.
I'm still on top of the pillar, so can I, like, from my vantage point, can I get a better look?
Absolutely, you can. You're kind of like not on your hands and knees prone, but you look. And at this time, Fleeple... Well, first off, I need everybody to roll me a stealth check, and then I'll describe what you see. Lance, you do not have the plus 10 because I don't believe you're in range. Is it within 30 feet radius? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And Balthus is not going to roll a stealth check because he's Balthus.
Gonna use my inspiration to re-roll that.
Oh, all right.
Okay, I have a 22.
24 for Mal.
25.
25. Okay. Mal, you are holding firm. Holding just the short sword, or are you holding the silver sword?
She's holding the short sword in one of her hands, and she pulls out a second hand axe just to have 2 light weapons in her hands.
Very good, very good. And Lance, you are holding there. And Fleeple, you're the only one that is able to witness what is happening as you do see Balthus. He's running, and as he reaches a certain point of the corridor that's off to the east, there is a slow spell that gets activated as he crosses a specific point, and it's just slow motion. But as soon as that activated is when you hear the grinding or the iceberg moving itself, and you look off. So you do see Balthus start to slow, but you hear the beat of the wings that is familiar to you because you, having wings just for a short time, you're able to recognize the sound, and you feel the air start to shift, and the low grumble of what you assume to be Arauthator quickly confirmed as you hear a loud right by where Balthus currently is at. In the lair, there is a section of ice right in the middle that has a pillar almost the same level as where you currently are at, Fleeple. And you just see this dark shape and dark shadow with its wings completely outstretched that begin to fold as it perches on this ledge looking down at this peculiar creature. Balthus, now in slow motion, looking slowly up at Arauthator, this dragon, right as Arauthator is looking and pounces on Balthus and is going to make an attack roll. And it's as he pounces, Fleeple, that's when you get sight of Arauthator and how large this dragon is. So, rolling a 7 on the dice plus so they get an 18 to hit, which hits Balthus. How much hit points does Balthus have?
Probably not much.
It's just the stats of a Mastiff.
I think so, which is probably a handful of dice.
I'm sure it's like 7 hit points. That was what Zaza usually had.
It is 5 hit points,
yeah.
in fact.
Oh, poor doggy.
The chompers of Arauthator rip into Balthus. Balthus just screams out in pain in slow motion before falling right back into the statue. Arauthator looks down at the statue, cocks its head, and immediately is on alert.
And so, while Arauthator is looking down in that moment of confusion, I'm going to take 3 torches and toss them directly east of me.
Ooh, okay. Sounds good. Good. How far are you aiming to, you wanting to throw these torches?
I want to throw them as far east as I can so that they will attract the dragon's attention and hopefully get him to start going towards them past the pillar where I'm currently on top of.
Towards the net, right?
Yes.
So you're trying to get it on the same, just in that general direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And from, I'm 24 feet up above the bottom area?
Yes, you are 24 feet up from the ground level here, correct. You're going to throw it in that direction regardless. Let's see how far you can throw it, though. Let's have you roll an athletics check, which I know is not great for you.
-2. That's a 5.
5, okay. I mean, it's going to be a success of throwing. But it's just a matter of how far you throw, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
they hit
as
Mal
you chuck
underneath. Ow!
Yeah, so as you throw, you're able to throw it about 15 to 20 feet away from where you currently are at. And you're like, you start to massage your shoulder a little bit. This is interesting, throwing the torches while doing a perception. So Arauthator is coming from the spot of this is a magic statue. Who would possibly have a magic statue down here by randomness? Somebody else must be here. Hence, the torches is a good distraction. So here we go. Yeah. Okay. Not great rolls, actually. So, as they're looking in the darkness to see each of you, to see if they can kind of see you, the light catches their attention. And they don't move initially. They actually stay there looking in that direction, maybe thinking like maybe somebody jumped down with their torch. And you hear Arauthator's voice for the first time.
A neat trick, to be sure. But a trick is all it was. Why don't you come out so we can chat properly?
And it starts to stalk towards the location where the torches were. Not fast, but it is moving the direction to where the torches were, specifically closer to that pillar.
Okay, what I'm actually going to do then is I'm going to summon Star Platinum in the area where those torches are.
Okay. So the torches, since there is no pillar between you and the pillar with the nets, there's no levels between you two, I should say. So these torches fell all the way down to the ice floor. Do you want Star Platinum on the ground next to the torches on the floor there?
Yeah, I'm going to have him start kind of behind the pillar, just appear right there on the ground, and then walk out into the dragon's vision. And when he gets in place as he's walking towards Star Platinum, right, as he's below me on that pillar, I'm going to telekinesis on the opposite corner of the net from where I am, just to make sure that I've got a nice stable lift. That is going to make Star Platinum disappear, but in that moment of confusion, gonna fly out, drop the net on top of the dragon.
As they see Star Platinum, Arauthator cocks its head and just grins this very inhuman smile. He goes,
Oh, one from the Feywild. How did you find yourself in my little home?
and as it goes to step, that's when you activate your telekinesis. Star Platinum leaves, and it's at that moment when Arauthator lunges for Star Platinum as they're about to leave. Your goal is to pull the net off the top and try to land it perfectly on top of Arauthator, correct?
Yep, so I'm on one corner, telekinesis on the other corner, so I've got a nice even distribution of the force, and just pull it straight out and almost drape it down over the top.
Sounds good. All right. Well, as you drop it on top of Arauthator, they did not notice you. With their perception check, they rolled a 7 on the dice.
Wow.
Perfect.
And so all of you, that pass without trace really came in handy there. And it's at that point that the net gets dropped on top of Arauthator. And as it is successful, I think it's time to roll initiative.
Yeah.
Baby. Oh my gosh. I hate my initiative.
All right. So, Fleeple, what did you roll?
11.
Mal?
You know, most of the time, I feel like
Oh boy.
when you roll a natural 20 on initiative, it doesn't feel like it's super important, but I feel like this is the best time to get a natural 20 on an initiative. So I have a natural 20, which is a initiative of 22.
Oh boy.
Ooh, yeah, that's a pretty
It
important
feels
time
important,
here.
yeah.
Oh gosh, that's good. And then Lance.
8.
All right. Well, as Fleeple yanks this with telekinesis, drapes the net over Arauthator, there's a moment of confusion before Arauthator just starts. And Mal, it's your go first. You are within 20 feet of this creature.
I sure am.
Oh boy.
Mal will look across the cavern to where she can see Lance hiding behind his pillar as well. And she just kind of goes, okay, here we go. And she will bonus action rage, taking the form of a bear. So while raging, I have resistance to all damage except for psychic. And
Which
she will
is
just
bizarre. That's crazy.
charge forward, holding the short sword of dragon slaying aloft. And as she gets to the dragon, she just takes 2 quick slashes at his underside.
Excellent. Let's go ahead and roll damage here. Go ahead.
So the net, statistically the way this works, a creature entangled by a net is restrained until it is freed. And while restrained, attack rolls against the creature have advantage and its attack rolls have disadvantage.
Yeah. And it has to use an action to break out, right?
Yeah, so the way that the net works specifically, a creature can use its action to make a DC 10 strength check, freeing itself or another creature within its reach on a success, or dealing 5 slashing damage to the net at AC 10 also destroys the net. But since this is 6 nets put together, would that be... I mean, I'll let you figure out how you want to make that work.
I don't think it's going to be 60 damage it has to get through, but it is a +1, so the AC will be a little harder, but maybe not 6 times worth of damage. We'll say just 10 worth of damage it has to get through.
Okay.
All right, Mal. So this was with advantage then for both of these attacks.
So the first attack was a natural 20.
With the short sword.
Wait.
The Dragon Slayer. Oh.
A natural 20 for initiative, and a natural 20 with the Dragon
first
Slayer
strike.
sword.
Gotta love initiative.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that's 26 to hit.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Jake, you want to hit me with the stats one more time when we're using the sword against a dragon?
So again, a short sword, you have a d6 for the base damage, and if it's attacking a dragon, you get 3 d6s. So with a natural 20, you get 8 d6s to roll.
Yeah.
That is a fireball right there.
That's a...
This is like the first time I've seen a convoluted plan actually work.
Yeah. How's that for shaky plans?
My, how far we've come. Well, I mean, it's crazy how you guys didn't plan at all.
No,
we
this is
just
improv.
knew this is gonna.
This is improv, baby.
Zip-up, baby. Yes, and. As you rush up to Arauthator, Mal, you scream. Arauthator turns around.
Worm and slime, I will keep your...
As you just dig into him as he is speaking to you, not listening, scoring this critical hit into the side, the magic piercing through his hide. He screams out in pain. You do how much damage his first attack?
25 points of slashing damage.
Oh, 25!
And then for the second...
It's advantage as well.
Yeah, it's only an 18 that time.
18, just barely a hit.
Yes. 18 slashing damage for the second attack.
Ooh, my goodness.
Man, that net. She has moved completely south of this dragon, hopefully keeping his attention down at her and away from her teammates who are now directly behind the dragon.
I see. So that was just your attacks. Your bonus action was to rage and you moved. So your turn is done.
And she just glares up at the dragon and says, "Come on!"
All right. Fleeple, it goes right to you.
Okay, do I hear by any chance, like, can I tell that the trolls have figured out that something's going on over here?
I think it's safe to assume that with all of the noise, they probably aren't going to be standing idly by, as Makoth said that they serve Arauthator as well.
Okay, I'm going to then hold my action, and as soon as I see those 2 trolls appear, I'm going to cast a circular wall of thorns around both of them from the Staff of the Woodlands.
Whoa. Okay, sounds good. Do you want to do anything with your bonus action or movement?
Bonus action. With my flying speed, I can just barely make it to Lance. I am going to fly down to him and bonus action Ritual of Mistletoe cast Heroism on Lance.
Nice. Oh. This is temporary
What does that do?
hit points, right?
Yep, beginning of each of your turns, you are going to gain temporary hit points equal to my Wisdom modifier, I believe is what it is. Let me check just to make sure.
Your spellcasting modifier, I think so. I know it was just like a handful. And as it gets cast upon you, Lance, you hear in the back of your mind, Johnny Craig, here I come. As heroism gets cast upon you, and you're like, yeah, if that kid could do it, so could I. As you look at this massive dragon in front of you.
Oh, wait, that's concentration, and so is Wall of Thorns. Well, you're going to have it for 1 round at least.
Yeah, that's fine.
There you go.
What's my temp hit points that I get?
4.
So you get 4 temporary hit points. Yep, and it's actually your go, Lance. So you get 4 right at the beginning.
Yeah, with that in mind, Lance is going, okay, you're a hero. You're a hero. You're a hero. He'll hop around the corner, and he will notch in his bow the arrow of slaying, specifically dragon slaying as it was made, and he'll just be like, okay, you're a hero. Surprise. He will shoot it.
With advantage.
With advantage. Oh, crap on a cracker. Oh my gosh, this is not going to hit. I've been rolling terribly. That is going to be a 15.
No.
15 to hit.
Jake, I'm going to give you my inspiration.
Oh, no.
Ooh, last inspiration.
I don't want to lose the arrow.
It's a really
last
nice arrow.
inspiration.
Come on, dang it.
The arrow's
Come
worth
on.
it.
Come on. Oh, suck. It's not going to make it. It's 16.
As you have heroism cast upon you, you're just like, I'm a hero. I'm a hero. And you have dragon slaying, and you're looking, and he's within range, and he's large. As you let loose, just the cold is so, you're not used to the cold, and the arrow goes, and it's a hit, but it deflects off of its armor, the scales, and it's an unsuccessful attack, unfortunately.
Just give me some grace here. Let's see if this works. If that happens and it deflects, do I see it on the ground?
I will roll to see what happens to it and how far it skitters away. As the arrow just is within your range of sight, because of your dark vision, the arrow goes off and it leaves your line of sight, and you can't see where it goes, but you see the general direction it goes. You just can't see it on the ground.
Dang it.
You can at least start moving in that direction and see if you can manage to get a glimpse of it.
That just sucks. Okay. Yeah. Where is the general direction, Thomas?
It does go south, further south, past Arauthator, past Malamara.
Okay. I still got 1. So, okay.
Yeah, because Makoth gave you 2 arrows of dragon
What I'm going to do then for the rest of my turn is I am just going to use my movement, and I am going to...
Bonus action dash?
Well, I want to bonus action hide, because if he's not under this net again, I want to have that. So I think I can 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, that sucks. Well, it's still kind of hiding. I just have to move a little bit. I'm going to go around the pillar.
Okay.
Like, obviously out of sight, and I'm going to use that to bonus action hide.
Okay, give me a moment.
Man, that just sucked. That was bad. I rolled a 7. I rolled a 5, a 7, and an 8.
Ugh.
So sorry, Jake.
So bad. Well, I had to balance out Mickey's natural 20, right?
No, it didn't.
Lance, real quick, are you heading southwest for my benefit?
No, sorry. I can't head that far. I'm literally the pillar I'm at, or the platform I'm at, I'm just moving around it 30 feet as much as I can.
So you're just going to run behind it and around to hide, essentially. So
Yes.
you're running to the other side to hide. Go and roll a stealth check, please.
I do get advantage with sound being just quieter. That's a natural 20 for the hiding. So 32.
Okay, sounds good. All right. That is going to be your turn. Actually, at the end of your turn, Lance, he's going to use a legendary action.
Of course he is.
Of course he is.
And he does not like this net that he's in. So he is going to try and attack the net and do some damage to it. So, are you kidding me? It's a natural 1.
Ooh, baby.
So,
This net feels
not
so
a mag
magical.
fail. Must be a masterwork net. I bet a druid
There
worked
was
on
a
this.
masterwork net.
Like,
Literally, if he'd rolled any other number,
Oh
he
my
would have attacked
gosh.
and done damage. Well, what are you gonna do?
Guess I'll die.
What a legendary action
This is
that
fine.
Woo! Okay. Well, that is going to be his legendary action. He was gonna try and attack Mal, but oh well. Now, this is where the ice trolls come into play. One of them pops up over, and they are going to move in conjunction with each other. They are working together. They both have the same initiative, so they are running on over, and they see you, Fleeple, and they're going to try and run towards you. So how close do you want them to get to you before it launches off here?
Yeah, as soon as I can see both of them right next to each other, so they're going to have to kind of squeeze together a little bit to get through this passage here. So as soon as I see them right next to each other, because the Wall of Thorns has a 20-foot diameter, they're both large, so this is going to just barely exactly encompass both of them.
Correct. It absolutely is. All right. Wall of Thorns. Whoo! 6th level.
And when the wall appears, each creature within its area must make a dexterity saving throw. And on a fail, it's 78 piercing damage or half as much on a success.
Oh my gosh. Now, describe to us how this, I mean, it's not every day you get to cast a 6th level spell. So how does this Wall of Thorns pop into existence, Fleeple, in this iceberg wasteland?
Yeah. So I think to the person who loaned me this staff, to the Ice Hunter, and the way that the thorns begin to appear, they are made of ice itself, but given a flexible, almost thorn-like, plant-like texture. And they come out almost like hunting traps, like snares, like kind of grabbing them around the feet like bear traps almost, and trying to pin them in place here.
Yeah, and because they have to go through this very tight space for their large frames, the thorns almost like, as you said, jut out of the ground and of the pillars themselves. And dexterity saving throws, you said? What's the DC?
It's going to be DC 16.
Okay, and that's, here we go. Not great. Okay, that one's okay. So... one was a 5, and one was a natural 20 for 21.
Okay. So let me grab 7d8.
My goodness.
It's going to be 32 piercing damage.
32 piercing damage. All right, so the first one runs through and just almost gets impaled on these ice thorns. And 32 damage to them. And the other one takes half of that?
Correct. So 16.
Great. Okay, that's just their action. This is a concentration. Now, they can try to break out of it. Is that right? Or
Yes, you can,
they
move through the wall, but for every 1 foot they move through the wall, it's a 5-foot thick wall. It's going to cost them 4 feet of movement for every foot.
Okay. And it's a 5 foot.
Yeah, to get through the wall, it's going to cost them 20 feet of movement.
Okay. And when the first time or ends its turn in the wall, so yeah, they have to, like a dexterity saving throw. They're going to try and do that. I mean, they've used their full movement to get where they currently are at. They were going to attack, but with how things are, they don't really like this. And not surprisingly, trolls don't care too much about pain.
Huh, you don't say.
They're going to just push through it, and they're going to spend their entire action to move the rest of the way and just get on the other side of the wall. Fleeple, that means that they are within 5 feet of you, I would say. Well, no, you probably would stop them a little bit further. So they are 10 feet from you currently, I'll say.
Okay.
And that's going to be their entire turn because they don't have any bonus actions. So that's it. Great. Now, at the end of their turn, Arauthator is going to use another legendary action to try and use his tail again to get out of this net here. Okay, that is a lot better. That's a 28.
Oh,
and
gosh.
so They're going to do some damage here. That is going to be... Yeah, so that's going to be 17 points of slashing damage.
70 or 17?
17 points of bludgeoning damage, actually. Apologies. And as such, is able to cut a hole through this net that was holding it down. And it starts to shake it off. And now it is going to be its turn. So, first things first, I am going to activate Arauthator's Frightful Presence. This is Arauthator looking at each of you, as long as the ones that he can see, and he is going to just yell,
You are worms!
And I need each of you to roll a wisdom saving throw, please. What did everybody get?
18.
17 for Mal.
16.
The three of you hear the cacophony of the noise reverberate off the walls. And as each of you take a deep breath, none of you are frightened by Arauthator, for you are the Dragon Slayers. That is its frightful presence. It is now going to make some attacks against Malamara here. So Mal, here we go. The first one is going to be 30 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
It's going to be 19 points of piercing damage.
Halved.
Plus 6 points of cold damage, halved. So that's a total of 12 after all the halving is done. Then it's going to do 2 claw attacks against you. Okay, that's going to be a non-natural 20. And 17.
17 is exactly my armor class.
So both of them hit. So the first one's going to do 16 points of bludgeoning damage. And the second is also going to be 16 points of bludgeoning damage. So 16 total points. And it is going to try and fly in the air away from you, Malamara. Doesn't like that sword you have. You are going to get an opportunity attack against this. Go ahead.
Great.
Does not want to be near while you attack that thing.
Non-natural 20.
That's a hit.
Yes.
That's 18 points of damage, and I have a racial feat that's Savage Attacks. So when I score a critical hit, I get an extra damage. Can I just add that right now because I didn't before?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
18, 22 points of slashing damage.
So 18 becomes 22.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. As Arauthator flies up into the air, he actually goes on top of the pillar, 24 feet above you, and he lands on top of it, glowering down at you, Malamara, and sees Fleeple over there in the general area next to the ice trolls as well. That's going to be its turn. And with that, we jump to Mal.
With him being so high above me, Mal will use a bonus action to drop her rage
Okay.
and try to cast Eldritch Blast at it because he's out of my strike radius.
So you drop your rage and you gain composure, and you, without thinking, you throw your hand out, only to realize your connection was broken, right? And you just... But you do it without even thinking. And as you're about to stop yourself and you do it without even thinking, you throw your hand up, and just as you're like sinking into despair, you feel inside of you. You felt it a little bit before, but now that you are casting this magic, you feel it like tenfold. The pool and like the depths of your rage and anger where you would pull your magic from Air 2, you reach for that, and as your heart starts to sink, it's almost like you feel that pool get turned upside down, almost like a timer, like a sand timer that you flip, and sand starts to dissipate the other direction, and what was complete darkness now seems to be complete light. And you catch your breath as your hand starts to drop before your hand of its own accord shoots back up pointed at Arauthator, and your Eldritch Blast gets shot out of your hand. Bigger, brighter, larger than they ever were before. They are bright, searing light, and they are double the size of what you had cast previously with Air 2. And I'm going to say, as a result, for this one time, these two Eldritch Blasts, if they hit, they're going to do double damage.
Another natural 20.
No!
With the double damage.
No! What have I done?
You said it. You're being a cool DM is what you're doing.
I spoke too soon.
I only rolled a 3 on the other one,
So let it be written.
which is a 9.
Oh my gosh. Nuts.
11. 9 and 9 is 18, 11, 20, 30.
30 damage.
34. Wait, no. Yeah, 34 points of damage because you gave
34 points of damage.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The singing sword all back in water deep.
It
my gosh.
It just feels the power
Feels
all that distance away.
praise Bahamut and all that.
Oh, Malamara. And all of that. This first Eldritch Blast, it is almost like the power had been just welling up inside of you, and at the first sign of it's like water's been building up, and as soon as you release the spigot just a little bit, it just explodes, and it's like almost looks like a fireball to you, Fleeple, of just this bright platinum light as it sprays across Arauthator. And you look, and you're in awe of what you see. It's almost like as the light dissipates, you see the faint shivering symbol of Bahamut as it dissipates into the darkness. The second one goes wide because your hand was blasted away from the impact or from the force of the first one. That was 34 points of damage, you say?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let's just say Arauthator is bloody.
Wow.
He is looking not too great.
At the top of round 2, holy cow.
At the top of round 2, with these natural 20s, going to Malamara. Wow. Mickey is beside herself right now. That's
boy.
your action, Malamara. Bonus action to drop. Do you move at all?
I certainly do, since she dropped her rage. And she's, I would say, surprised and almost, I don't know if scared is the right word, but just shocked by the absolute power and the well of power that she's felt, but now feeling very drained and vulnerable. And knowing that there's a dragon right above her, she's actually going to hightail it 40 feet right over here behind this pillar and take some cover, hopefully, for this turn.
Mal, as you see Arauthator, as you are running backwards, I'm going to have you roll a perception check as you're running backwards.
Sure. My perception's super good. 3.
You see a big old dragon staring down at you, not too happy with you. So,
Big old dragon.
big old dragon. Not too great here. So, it is going to take a legendary action, and it is going to roll a perception check here. It rolled a non-natural 20. Jacob, what did you get?
It was above a 20. It was like 23 or
Sounds
something.
good.
Yeah, it was above 20. I know that.
He's never under a 20.
It looks around, and it sees Fleeple, and it sees Mal, and it does not appear to see Lance. And that's its legendary action it's going to take. So, Fleeple, it is your go. You have 2 ice trolls right in front of you. They have passed through your wall of thorns, unfortunately, but it's your turn. What are you going to do?
All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fly away from these trolls. I'm going to fly actually right next to... Well, Malamar, how hurt are you looking right now?
I am just over half of my hit points.
Okay, I'm going to fly...
But I do have balm.
All right, I'm going to fly directly next to Malamara. That is my maximum flying distance. I'm going to bonus action Ritual of Mistletoe, Cure Wounds, And I'm going to burn 4 sprigs of mistletoe
Holy crap.
so that I can give you an extra 3d4 on top of that.
And your moon sickle, right?
I'm not attuned to the moon sickle right
That's
now.
right. You unattuned. Ooh.
Yeah, so this is going to be 1d8 plus 3d4.
Holy crap.
Daggum.
So it's going to be 16 hit points back to you.
Hey,
Nice.
there you go.
Okay, that's my bonus action. Now for my main action, I am going to summon Star Platinum right next to... Well, actually, not quite right next to the dragon. I'm going to summon Star Platinum to the platform immediately below the dragon.
Okay.
And now I'm going to have Star Platinum look up and just flip him the bird with both hands. He is fuming. Now, Star Platinum is going to use bonus action to face step immediately next to the dragon on top of that pillar to the south. There's a little sliver of land there.
Very small sliver as the dragon takes up the whole expanse here. But yes, very slim.
Now that he has teleported and he's fuming, he gets advantage on his first attack roll after teleporting.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a natural 20.
Oh my god.
No! Stop it! You all stop it! I have this really big dragon that I'm like, all right,
-1 trying to
legendary
get out of a
actions. Legendary resistances.
So that's going to be 14 piercing damage plus 7 force damage.
14 plus 7, 21 damage.
And now he's going to get his second attack because I cast it at 4th level and he gets 2 attacks at 4th level.
All right. And just the first one was with advantage, right?
Correct. Next one is just a straight roll. That's a 22 to hit.
That's a hit. Wow.
Okay. That is 13 piercing damage and 6 force damage. Maximum damage.
Stop it.
Wow.
Stop it. 19?
Correct.
Oh my gosh.
Star Platinum coming in clutch. My
Yeah,
boy.
it is.
Arauthator is not looking too good.
That's what I like to hear.
Oh, I love this game so much.
Round 2, Arauthator is...
You despicable creatures! You die!
And it's going to take a legendary action at the end of Star Platinum's turn, and it is going to just attack and try to wail into them
All right.
with its tail. Actually, it's going to use... Yeah, it's going to use its wing attack, actually.
To try and buffet him away.
Yeah, so it's gonna spend its last 2 legendary actions for the round, and it's gonna use a wing attack instead. I need you to roll me a dexterity saving throw for Star Platinum, please.
15.
15 is a miss, so it is not successful. It's gonna take Star Platinum's gonna take 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And I will say that as a result of this precarious ledge and the wings just poof, it's going to get knocked on the pillar just below it, which, what did we say that was? Is that more than a 10-foot drop? I don't think so. So it's not enough to do extra damage, but it is enough to knock it off directly, not to where it's not next to it. And Arauthator is going to start flying here. It gets to use half of its fly speed, which is 40 feet. And it's actually going to be flying 30, 40 right there. So it's going to fly west. If you didn't know any better, it actually looks like it's flying towards that entryway where Balthus went into, that it came from. Like it's going westward to the lair. And Mal and Fleeple, it doesn't look like it's looking at you as it's flying, and you can see like some of the blood is dripping from its scales. Lance, you are barely able to see, just at the edges of your vision, Arauthator flying 60 feet away from you. And that's going to be its legendary action there. The ice trolls are going to run their full movement. By the way, at the beginning...
Hey, what about me?
Oh, yeah, you're first. You're next. You're before the ice trolls. Go for it.
Come on! Lance is going to see that this thing has actually... I was worried because I was like, it's more than 60 feet away. Nope, not anymore. And Lance is hidden still, hasn't seen him. So he's just going to notch the second arrow of slaying and just be like, come on. Come on. Both eyes open. He will loose it. All right, come on.
As your sister whispers in your ear, and you're like, I got this. And she goes, I know you got this. Just get it.
Oh my gosh.
Stop.
No, I'm just rolling terribly. It's a 2 and a 3.
No! Oh my gosh.
Man, I can't give him my luck points. Dang it.
That's terrible. I haven't done anything to this dragon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jake.
No more inspiration, unfortunately.
So sorry.
Not enough. As that gets loosed, your sister's the one that distracts you. You're like, I got this.
Well, you
And you let it loose, and you're like, oh, it's not going to hit. And sure enough, it goes past the dragon. It doesn't hit the scales. That's going to be your action, unfortunately.
All right, bonus action. This is so... Oh my gosh, I haven't done anything in this fight. We're like, yeah, we're rocking it. I'm just failing. Okay, Lance is going to use his movement. Again, the general direction. I saw that arrow that I did see scatter away.
Generally in the south direction here. It's past where the dragon currently is, as the dragon's flying westward, and past where your allies are. But it is, if you were to guess, it's at least 60 feet away, maybe further.
Okay, I have 2 ideas. Thomas, you help me here. Help me. I can move 60 feet with bonus action and movement.
Okay.
Bonus action, dash, and movement. Would I be able to, if I did that, would you let me take an extra perception check to try and see if I can spot that last arrow? If not, I have another idea too, so don't feel beholden to that.
I would say we could use your passive perception.
No, that sucks, so that's not going to work. Yeah, my passive perception is 14. It's not going to be good enough, I think, to find an arrow.
Might I make a bold suggestion?
Sure.
So it's already used all of its legendary actions for the round, and it's trying to get away. Mm-hmm. If you dash all the way down right next to him, you could try and get an opportunity attack against him as he's trying to fly away.
He's flying, though.
Oh, that's a good point. How high up is he?
He's going to be about, the ceiling up here is 40 feet from the floor level, so he can't be higher than that. He's not quite hugging the top, and he's a large creature anyway, so even if you were trying to attack with some range, it'd be 30. I'd say anywhere between 15 to 20 in the air.
All right, I'm doing the second thing then. Here we go. All right, this sucks. Oh man, that just sucked. The rolls. Okay, I'm going to run 60 feet toward the cavern, or 30 feet, depending on what you determine, Thomas. I'm going to run toward the place he's retreating to. And Lance is just like kicking himself. He's just like, you're an idiot. You're a failure. What is happening? And Lance is going to run over there, and he's just going to stop, and he's just going to turn, and he is giving himself fully away to the dragon. And he's just going to shout at this dragon.
This is the mighty beast that so many people have raved, you coward!
And he's going to try and basically call this guy's ego out to get him to stop.
Normally it would be an action, but I will allow you to roll some sort of charisma here.
Intimidation.
Well, any of it's going to be...
Persuasion.
Yeah, I was thinking intimidation's probably going to be the best, honestly, because you're trying to intimidate them to goad them.
Yeah. It's an 8.
8. Ugh. The dragon looks towards your direction and sniffs and looks surprised because he didn't see you there previously, but you're unsure what it's going to do based off of your roll there.
That's it. That's my turn.
Okay, now it is the troll's turn. Each of the trolls, at the beginning of their turn, they get 10 hit points back because they are trolls, yo. And they're just going to try and run. They see you, Lance. Let's see. 10, 15, 20, 20. Oh, no, if they go that way, they're going to go through the thorns. They don't want to go through the thorns, so they have to go this way.
The thorns aren't there anymore. Thorns are concentration, and so is Star Platinum.
Oh, thorns are gone. Okay. They use their entire action to get all the way up to you, Lance, but that's all they can do because they don't have any ranged attacks. They have melee, and that's it. So, that's it. That's their turn. And they don't have any legendary actions. It is now Arauthator's turn. I'm going to see, haven't used its breath weapon yet, see if they get it this turn. Nope, don't get the breath weapon this turn. So,
Oh boy.
as they, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? This dragon is not looking good. Yeah, it's gonna, Arauthator is going to spend its full action and movement to start flying further away. That's 15, 30, 60, 80. And Lance, Fleeple, and Mal, as you watch Arauthator fly away, they leave your dark vision. You're unable to see them currently, but they did start flying back to where they were initially. So, that's going to be it on its turn. Mal, it's your go.
Oh, chase a dragon through slow. Probably not a great idea. So, since these guys are right in front of us.
Well, slow's already been activated, so it can't be.
It's true. Slow was already activated
again
by Balthus.
Oh, I just assumed it was like a layer effect, that it was just... So he cast slow on Balthus. It wasn't a layer effect.
It was activated as like a trap
in
that area.
Sure.
But Balthus activated it.
Well, these guys are the biggest threat to us right now. So Mal will use an action, since she has a connection to her magic, to cast Mirror Image on herself. Because Mirror Image is not a concentration spell, she will then use her bonus action to Rage. Yeah! And she will run up to, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 to these guys.
So right next to Lance, as these ice trolls are right next to Lance, you run in between to take the focus so the ice trolls aren't going to be attacking Lance.
Correct.
All right, and I believe that's it for you. So, Fleeple, it is your go.
All right, I'm going to fly 35 feet in the direction of the dragon.
Yeah, and with your dark vision, you don't see anything yet, but you hear in the distance the flapping of the wings.
Okay, I am going then to summon Star Platinum. The range I can summon Star Platinum up to is 90 feet.
Great.
I'm going to start with 60 feet because he couldn't have gotten too far.
Fair, and that's at the edge of your vision, that 60 feet.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? I will go the full 90 feet because Star Platinum has dark vision as well.
Oh, okay, cool. So you just launch Star Platinum. In your hands, you just, and you chuck it as far as you possibly can.
Yeah, so I'm recasting the spell in order to get the extra distance.
30, yep. And Start Platinum is going to pop up right, we'll say, let's see, what is that? 60, 85, 90. So we'll save right there for reference for you, Fleeple. And it's right at that time that Star Platinum can barely see within 60 feet Arauthator flying away, just barely within its vision.
Okay, so what Star Platinum is going to do then is going to run 40 feet directly towards the dragon, and then phase step the additional distance to make it right next to the dragon. And we're going to make 2 attacks, because I summoned at 4th level once again.
Very good, very good.
First attack with advantage.
Furious, because it's a furious Star Platinum.
Such a fuming little satyr boy. That's only a 12 to hit.
12 is a miss, unfortunately.
Okay, second attack. 29 to hit.
29 is a hit.
Just one shy of being a nat 20. That is 9 piercing damage and 1 force damage.
Arauthator doesn't look great, and he takes this damage as Star Platinum in the air just and kicks him right in the face. As it breathes out in ice. It's going to take a legendary action at the end of Star Platinum's turn, because I believe that was it, right?
Well, before we finish our little turn here, I'm just going to call out and say in Draconic, "Oh, the champion of Tiamat afraid of Bahamut's little worm, huh?"
I want to do a goading check at that point. I'm going to have you roll Intimidation with advantage at that. Yeah.
Ooh, baby. That is a 13.
13. All right. We'll see how he reacts on his turn, or with his legendary actions, which right now he is going to attack Star Platinum with his tail attack here. That is a non-natural 20 to hit.
That'll do it.
And there it is, 2d8. That's going to be 11 points of bludgeoning damage to Star Platinum.
All right.
Still up?
Still up.
Oh, gosh.
He's got 29 hit points left.
Wow. All right, Star Platinum, way to go. That's the end of its legendary action. So, Lance, it is your go. You have ice trolls right next to you.
Okay. Lance is going to ignore the ice trolls and is going to sprint 60 feet.
Okay. So, an attack of opportunity to you from the ice troll, right?
Correct.
All right. It's going to do a claw attack against you and gets a 21 to
That
hit.
hits.
Yep. And does 13 points of slashing damage to you. Okay. But you're able to run 60 feet. So that's 60 feet right there.
Am I within 60 feet of that dragon? Or not 60, 80 feet.
You are just, we'll say you're just barely within 80 feet of the dragon. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah. Just barely.
All right. And just with a regular arrow, because the other ones are gone, Lance is just going to see that dragon and just go, just do something. And he will fire his arrow. No advantage because I wasn't hiding or anything. And hope it hits. That will be an 11. I rolled a 3.
Are you serious?
I rolled a 3.
Oh my gosh. That's like 5 under 10 that you've used. Oh my gosh. Oh, the arrow goes wide, unfortunately. It sails past the dragon, past Star Platinum. As the arrow sinks into, you hear a splash as you're getting closer and closer to the actual resting place of Arauthator here. Lance, unfortunately, a miss.
That's it.
All right. At the end of your action, Lance, it's now going to take another legendary action, and it is going to try to get Star Platinum again with another tail attack. That's a 26 to hit.
That hits.
And 14 bludgeoning damage.
All right. He's still got 15 left.
Goodness gracious, Star Platinum. That's its legendary action. It's now the Ice Trolls. And the Ice Trolls, they're going to wail on you, Mal. And they are flanking you. So that is with advantage here. Each of them makes 3 attacks. So the first one with advantage. Roll double 3s. Second one with advantage. Natural 20. It's going to be a 25 to hit. So
That hits.
there we go. And then the second one is going to be, the second one's attacking. That is only a 16. So that's a
That
miss,
misses.
right?
Yep.
Oof. Advantage is a 24 and a 23.
Those both hit.
So we had 3 successful claw
3
attacks,
attacks and with
and
one
then
natural 20.
Okay, sounds good. So that's going to be, so this is for 2 of them. Ooh, that's a lot of numbers. Okay, 10, 16, 19 plus 8 is 27. 38. And then 14, 52 points of slashing damage to you.
Okay.
Halved.
It's 26.
Good thing you were raging. Holy cow. But that's them. That's their turn. They just wailed on you, and you're still standing, like, grinning at them, and they kind of, like, look at each other confused. And that's it. So, it is now, before the dragon takes its turn, it's now going to make another legendary action against Star Platinum here. That's going to be a 23 to hit.
That hits.
And 17 points of damage.
17 is just barely enough.
There it is. So Star Platinum poofs out. So that gives Arauthator enough wiggle room to now fly his full 80 feet And the last thing you hear of Arauthator,
You may have won this day, you maggots. But Tiamat will rise. Tiamat will bring chaos to the world. And we'll see how your god protects you, little betrayer. You little puny, worthless, meaningless rat.
and as he says that and echoes in the chamber, you hear a loud as silence covers the chamber and the lair, leaving the trolls confused as what to do. But Arauthator has gone and has left this lair. And that is where we are going to end this week's episode of I Cast Fireball.
I hope our fans appreciate the super long episode that I will have to edit.
Yes, Mickey is definitely going to have to edit. This is not being cut into 2 episodes. This is all one long episode.
Well, shoot. How are we supposed to...
Wow. Wow, everybody.
Coward.
Wow.
Coward.
Yeah, I know it's unusual with Fleeple here, but turns out some chromatic dragons don't seem to have a sense of honor or dignity about them. When they see death on the horizon, they seem to be wanting to stick it out to the end. So, wow, that was a roller coaster. That was up, that was down, that was sideways, that was, whew, my heart is racing from that combat. That was our first big encounter with a huge adult white dragon there. And I'd say the Jake Squad lived up to its name. I'd say that. I was pretty nervous there for a while. So, as always, Jacob, Ned, Mickey, thank you for recording this extra long episode. And listeners, thank you for joining us on this extra long episode here following the combat with Arauthator. If you like this combat or just like the content that we're pumping out, please leave us a 5-star review on the podcatcher of your choice to let us know what elements you liked and just commiserate that the Arauthator got away. Commiserate with Lance on his unfortunate dice rolls. I'm so sorry about that, Jacob.
Just as the roll.
It's just the way it goes, unfortunately. Even with advantage, that's just crazy. But if you want to leave us something a little bit longer than a 5-star review, go and shoot us an email, icastfireball2020@gmail.com, where we can you can share your ups and downs and your emotional roller coaster you had during this episode, or some of the other ones that we've had. You can reach to us at our social media pages, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and our Patreon page, newly, still fairly fresh to you listeners and to us. You can go hop on our Discord, our Patreon exclusive Discord that we have in one of our tiers, and you can start talking about this battle in the spoiler discussion there. And all of those are at iCastFireball20, with the Patreon being iCastFireball20. Shout out to our sister podcast, Improv Tabletop. As always, they do fantastic, wonderful, beautiful things over there. They currently have their Avatar Legends and Blade in the Dark, which they call the Blade in the Dauphin RPG going on over there. Go give them a listen, and don't forget to leave them a 5-star review on the way out. Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and fellow wacky adventurers. But until next time, I'm Thomas, and around the table we have
Malamara.
Lance Thalen.
And Fleeple.
Let's keep that fire going, everybody, and we'll see you all next time.